Hi drama queens! Today's episode question is, how elaborate do the dates need to be for you to go out with someone that you don't have feelings for? If you're an ultra famous person like Hae-Jin, you really have the resources to go super fancy. A little too fancy maybe? Bet you can't wait to find out what he gets up to. So get comfy everybody and let's binge! Episode 7 starts with yet another flashback of Ji-ho. This time we learn that he grew up under the care of his loving father, and even though they didn't have much, they were quite happy. Sadly, his father got caught in a terrible storm on a fishing expedition and never came back. Ji-ho's antisocial personality was partly formed as an aftermath of growing up without loving caretakers. Back to the present, Hae-Jin wants to carry a sleeping Sang-Eun back home to rest, but is intercepted by Ji-ho in the lobby. He questions Hae-Jin's motives in taking an unconscious woman behind closed doors, and Hae-Jin questions his judgment for letting Sang-Eun drink so much the night before. These two are always at it like little kids. They eventually settled on bringing Sang-Eun to Ji-ho's apartment, with both of them standing guard. Hae-Jin refuses to let Sang-Eun sleep in another man's bed, thus forcing poor Sang-Eun to make herself comfortable on the couch. Hae-Jin takes the opportunity to tour Ji-ho's staged apartment and makes a mental note to also take some fake wedding photos with Sang-Eun. Sang-Eun eventually wakes up and is beyond embarrassed to find that she fell asleep under the watchful eyes of her two husbands/clients and basically runs away. On Woo's side, he's having a little bit of a headache right now as well. His running off to Canada plan required him to spend quite a bit of money on plane tickets and stuff, and now money is a little tight. To make things worse, Miss Yu keeps ordering him to buy expensive fruits without ever reimbursing him. He barges into her room and demands that she pays for her share of the living expenses. She basically tells him, "I don't pay rent the way normal people do, so here's an expensive shirt, take it or leave it." In the meantime, Sang-Eun is spacing out in the playground and replaying the kiss that she had with Ji-ho over and over. Woo runs into her and tells her excitedly that he posted Miss Yu's stupid shirt online for sale and the bids he got were more than 2 months of his paycheck. Sang-Eun laughs at his ignorance, telling him that the original price of any one item owned by Miss Yu easily costs 2 years of his salary. As they're talking, Sang-Eun stares at Woo's lips and once again recalls the steamy kiss that she shared with Ji-ho. Woo is sketched out by her expression and asks her what's gone into her. Upon hearing her story, Woo is super excited to learn that his friend is finally getting closer to conquering her crush. Sang-Eun is less excited though, because now she's totally confused about what kind of relationship she has with Ji-ho. Speaking of the devil, she gets a call from Ji-ho reminding her of their appointment. She quickly changes and shows up at his house. I don't really get it. Is it his day already? I thought she just fell asleep and then left her date with Hae-Jin. Along with her came the staging company that turned Ji-ho's house upside down. Now that the charade is over, they are going to revert the house back to a bachelor pad. Seeing how businesslike Sang-Eun is acting after last night, Ji-ho feels upset that their relationship remains more professional than romantic. He takes out his frustration on the staging staff and tells them all to leave before they could finish their work. He goes into the closet and sees all the vibrant outfits that Sang-Eun's prepared for him, complete with personalized notes that she's written and pinned to the sleeve. This lady sure is thorough. Did she think the coworkers would go rummaging through his closet during a work gathering? The next day, Ji-ho actually wears one of the cute ties that she's got him to work, which is noticed by his coworkers who doesn't seem to do much work at all. As for Hae-Jin, his motorcycle stalker continues to harass him, coming to his workplace and puncturing the tires of his car. Even though Hae-Jin's manager tries to go after him, he evades capture once again. At night, Sang-Eun comes to have dinner with Ji-ho as planned. She stares mesmerized at his lips as he slowly eats his pizza, tearing the cheese away in slow motion. I'm sure he's eating at normal speed, but just go along for the dramatic effect. A clueless Ji-ho looks at her and asks, do you want some pizza as well? To which Sang-Eun quickly changes the topic. She compliments him on wearing the tie well and offers to get him a few more outfits to solidify his new style. She then carefully tests him to recount the events of that night, saying that she doesn't remember anything. Ji-ho echoes that he doesn't remember anything either, which leaves her a little dejected. On Woo's side, he's taking on the spirit of Miss Yu's previous landlord. He serves her expensive fruits happily in the hopes that she'll throw more of her luxury brand clothes at him. Miss Yu pretty much ignores him and heads out for her appointment. Today, she's meeting with the chairman of Ina Group. In a flashback, we finally learn more about her, Sang-Eun, and Ina Group's backstory. It turns out she recruited Sang-Eun as an orphan to act as Ina chairman's daughter, grooming her from childhood in the hopes that she can become useful when she grows up. Useful how? Their goal is a political marriage alliance with the Kanji group. Unfortunately, or fortunately, we know that Sang-Eun caused the scene during the meeting and the alliance never took place. Ina Group chairman clearly blames Miss Yu and throws a fit that she has the nerve to show her face after the epic fail. Miss Yu remains calm and tells the chairman that what they actually failed at is Sang-Eun's life. Their plan caused her to stray from a normal life and forced her to live tirelessly for many years. Miss Yu threatens that if the chairman doesn't help Sang-Eun find a respectable position in the company as compensation, she'll go public with all the dirty deeds that he's done. Sang-Eun is totally unaware that she's getting roped back into the political minefield again. She's accompanying Hae-Jin to a horseback riding practice to prepare for his new movie. He knows that she's a great rider and lies that his instructor is injured and insists that she coaches him instead. This guy is so manipulative, honestly. Thus, a riding freely into the ocean sunset scene is born. At night, Ji-ho is preparing dinner and thinking back to a sad memory. After his father's passing, he would live under other people's roofs. This taught him to know when to shut up, to never fight for anything, and to never expect unconditional love from anyone. When he comes out of the memory, he's already eating dinner with Sang-Eun. Ji-ho wants to talk to Sang-Eun about the night, but she receives a call from Hae-Jin. This brings him back to reality, and his insecurity makes him draw a line between them again. The next day, Ji-ho takes Sang-Eun's advice and asks to eat lunch with his team. They thought he's finally started to warm up to them and jokes about how whipped he is around his wife. He gets irritated and assigns extra work to all those that make fun of him, causing them to run away mid-meal. It's never a good idea to eat lunch with your boss, man. Let that be a lesson to you all. Compared to the clueless Ji-ho, Hae-Jin is pulling out all the stops. After riding into the sunset together, he takes Sang-Eun sailing into the sunset as well. Sang-Eun feels very relaxed hanging out with Hae-Jin, but for some reason can't grow any special feelings for him. On their way home at night, Sang-Eun and Hae-Jin run into a group of hooligans who are driving recklessly. Hae-Jin calls them out and they start getting aggressive. Good thing at this moment, Woo comes to the rescue and uses his superior taekwondo skills to chase them away. We're all rooting for Sang-Eun and Ji-ho anyways, so maybe Hae-Jin can just start dating Woo. True to her words, Sang-Eun buys Ji-ho a nice tie. Coincidentally, he has bought himself the same one, so she obviously doesn't give it to him. On her way out of his place, she runs into Hae-Jin and regifts him the tie without thinking. The next day, Hae-Jin immediately wears the tie his sweetheart gives him while live streaming, and Ji-ho sees it on his co-worker's laptop and assumes correctly that it's gotta be Sang-Eun who gave the tie to him. He feels upset thinking that she treats them both the same. When he gets back to his office, he calls Sang-Eun and lies that his co-workers are getting a little suspicious of their relationship, so he's inviting her over to dinner. How are those two things related? She comes early and sits in on one of his trials. She realizes that a working Ji-ho with glasses looks and acts completely different. No wonder she didn't recognize him at first. After the trial, Sang-Eun talks to Ji-ho about the case that she just heard. The husband wants a divorce and the wife is devastated. Sang-Eun feels super sorry for her. Ji-ho tells Sang-Eun that the woman's divorced 4 times already, each time getting a very nice alimony. Her second ex couldn't handle the situation and actually committed suicide. Sang-Eun realizes that appearances can be deceiving and Ji-ho's job is extremely challenging. Doesn't matter which side his emotions may sway, he needs to listen to his logic and act according to the law. That night, Sang-Eun wants to bring things into the open with Ji-ho, but he's fallen asleep after drinking a little too much. Sang-Eun approaches him carefully and feels super tempted to steal another kiss from him. At the last moment, before their lips touch, she comes to her senses and tries to retreat. But Ji-ho wakes up and grabs her by the wrist. He finally confesses that the reason he's hesitant to tell her how he feels is because he doesn't want to scare her away. The truth is finally revealed, and this makes Sang-Eun smile from genuine happiness. It's sad to see that Ji-ho learned at a young age not to covet what's not his and fight for what he wants. But seriously, if he had just asked her out in the first episode, this drama would be over right then and there. It goes to show you how childhood traumas can really affect you so much into adulthood. Do you guys have similar stories that you would care to share? I would love to hear it in the comments. Also, please remember to subscribe and turn on notification, and I'll see you in the next episode of Love in Contract.